Hello, and welcome to Cheers, That's One Woman's Opinion. I am your host, Carolyn Mills. Today we'll be looking at Cheers Season 2, Episode 5. The episode is called Sumner's Return, and it first aired on November 3rd, 1983. This episode was directed by James Burrows. It was written by Glenn Charles, Les Charles, James Burrows, and Michael J. Weirton. Guest cast includes Michael McGuire as Sumner Sloan. McGuire died in 2017 from an undisclosed cause. IMDb must not have been updated when I did the first season because it did not have him listed as having passed away, which is kind of weird because I actually tried to contact him to get him on the podcast. But then I found out. So that's an update there. Cheers is filmed in front of a live studio audience was said by Shelley Long for this episode. In the cold open, Sumner Sloan enters the bar. He tells Coach it took him courage to show his face. Coach tells him we get a lot of funny faces. Realizing that Coach doesn't remember him, he explains who he is. Carla tells Sumner he is slime, not fit to walk among sewer rats. Sumner says he can't defend himself, and Coach replies, "Thank God, I thought she was talking to me." For everybody knows your name plays. Um, if I seem a little more subdued today, it's been a rough week. My boyfriend and I are no longer together. So it's been very hard, but I'm trying to keep going because I realize it's for the best. So back with the show. Norm comes into the bar with Cliff. Carla tells him that she thought they were at a ball game, and Cliff says they left in outrage. Norm explains that they made them change seats because they took off their shirts and the glare off Norm was blinding the batters. Diane comes in with a water gun and tells the others. She hides behind the door. Sam also comes in with a water pistol. He tries to find Diane, but she shoots him with her water. He falls down and she says, "I killed him." The way she says "I killed him" is like the cutest thing. Absolutely adorable. She then kisses him to revive him. Coach tells Diane that someone is waiting to see him and is waiting to see Diane in the men's room. Sumner comes from the bathroom. Diane screams, and Coach tells her, "Please." He's very sensitive about his face. This is one of the few times the actual episode is in the cold opening is actually part of the episode. Not only just some random thing that happens just to open the show, hence the term cold opening. And this one is actually in the continuation. Sumner asks to speak with Diane, and they go into Sam's office. Norm tells Sam not to worry. Cliff agrees. Then Norm asks Cliff, "Do you think he got her undressed yet?" This is a common trope we see on the show where they say one thing and then they absolutely turn. So here he's saying, "Don't worry," followed by, "Does he have her undressed?" This is actually pretty common among the barflies. Diane tells Sumner she is over him. He says that he is still with his wife, Barbara. Sumner explains he doesn't want Diane to hate him. She says she doesn't. He says he can't stand that she thinks he is. Diane finishes his statement with, "A creep? Well, you may have to live with that one." She forgives him for jilting her. It's actually a great line. She tells him to cut the crap. And he's like, "What have they done to you?" That's in there. Sumner suggests the three of them, that is Sumner, Diane, and Barbara, have dinner together. He says he wants her to know Barbara, but Diane doesn't want to meet Barbara. However, she reluctantly agrees. Sumner asks her if she's seeing anyone, but Diane denies it. And we're going to see when I get farther on that this kind of upsets Sam and he thinks he's not good enough. And really, that does seem like Diane comes up with some flimsy excuse, which we'll also see, but it really seems like Diane is embarrassed to be dating Sam with his not so smartness. Sumner leaves as Sam comes into the office. Diane tells Sam that Sumner came in wanting to just apologize for everything. Sam offers to punch his lights out, but Diane says it's best to just forget it. Sumner returns and asks if they can do dinner Saturday instead of Friday, and Diane agrees. She tells Sam that she told a small lie, not wanting Sam to worry about her meeting Sumner's wife. Even like this excuse here is flimsy. that he would worry about her meeting Sumner's wife. It's not like Diane's interested in women, so the wife is not a threat for her to meet. If anything, it could be if she was gonna say that her and Sumner were having dinner and she was afraid how he would feel. But that made no sense even to me. So that this whole thing Diane has is flimsy. She's not obviously very good at coming up with excuses. Sumner returns again. He tells Diane that he knows someone she might like since Diane is not seeing anyone. Diane turns him down and he leaves again. And of course, Sam is angry that Diane didn't tell Sumner that she and Sam are a couple. Sam asked Diane why she lied to him. She said she didn't lie, she just didn't mention it. And Cliff says that's a subtle difference at best, Diane. And Cliff's actually right on this. Lying by omission is still a lie. Sam says Diane is ashamed of him. Sam denies this. Oops, I reversed that. Sam says Diane is ashamed of him. Diane denies this. Diane says even she finds Sumner intimidating and wanted to protect Sam. Sam says she thinks he's too dumb. He tells her, "You're as big a snob as he is." Then Diane agrees, and she says she'll call Sumner and tell them that Sam is going. The barflies cheer for Sam. Carla tells him, "You just argued your way into spending Saturday with three Dianes." Another great line. Now Sam is upset. He will look like an idiot. Coach tells him to talk about something nobody knows anything about, like his apartment. Cliff suggests he reads War and Peace before Saturday since it's one of the greatest books ever written. Cliff says it's about 3.5 pound paperback. Coach tells him, "Forget it, Sam. Nobody can read 4 ounces a day." But Sam decides to go ahead and read it. Cliff and Norm come into the office that Saturday at 8:05 p.m. And I love they actually tell time by how many beers Norm has had to drink. He has been up for 5 nights reading War and Peace, but he's almost done. Sumner tells Diane that Barbara's sick, but still wants them to have dinner. Sam comes out of the office saying he's finished the book. Norm tells him, "Sammy, shoes, shoes." Carla grabs them from the office and hands them to Sam. Of course, because he's been up 5 nights in a row, he's a little out of it. Sam asks Sumner where his old lady is. Sumner explains she's sick. Sam says he wants to discuss War and Peace with Sumner. Sumner says he taught Tolstoy for 6 years and vowed never to talk about that book again. And for those of you who are not familiar with the book, War and Peace, it was written by Leo Tolstoy. Um, I think I own it, but I don't think I've read it yet. I've been planning on it since I was a child, just have not gotten around to it. Diane says it's the most overanalyzed novel ever written. They leave. Sam stands there dumbfounded until Carla throws a drink in his face. Then he gives her the thumbs up, and leaves again, and leaves as well. Like all tongue tied today. Keep messing up. But like I said, it's been a rough week. Coach says he wonders what smells good at Melville's. Norm smells the air and tells them what is being smelled. That would be cream of watercress soup, Coach, followed by baked mussels slightly covered with tag-on butter and topped off by a fire raspberry tort. It's pretty impressive, Norm's nose. We'll see this again another time, except for he messes up because he apparently smells food on his clothes. I think those are in the Rebecca years when that one happens. Cliff is eating some Cheetos. He asks Coach about the expiration date. Coach grabs a handful and shoves them in his mouth and says, "Yesterday." This is a great line. It's kind of like a throwaway line because his mouth is full when he says it. But it's a great line that expired yesterday. Sam and Diane and Sumner return. Sumner and Diane are chatting in French. So there are a few different times when Diane speaks in French. So I was curious if Shelley Long knows French. So I did a Google search. One said Shelley Long is fluent in French. The other one said there's no evidence that Shelley Long knows any French at all. So from this, we've concluded Shelley Long either does or does not know French. So if anybody knows more of that, feel free to enlighten us. Diane asks Sam after dinner drinks. Sam misses it, but then realizes she spoke in English. Both Sumner and Diane want a cognac. I think that's how you say it. Sam goes to the bar and gets the drinks. He tells the others he spent the evening nodding like an idiot. Norm says that Sam shouldn't leave Diane and Sumner together too long. Sam returns with the drinks and asks them what they're talking about. Diane says they're talking about God. Sam shares his thoughts by giving the topic a raspberry, which is that's what a raspberry is for those of you who are not familiar with the actual name of it. Diane asks Sam what his problem is. At first, he denies anything. Then he tells her, I have not been part of any conversation you've had tonight. Sumner says he tried to get Sam's opinion, but Sam didn't respond. Sam says that he and Diane are a joke. Then he adds that Sumner and Diane are a joke, but at least they're the same joke. He also says that Barbara's not really sick. Sumner wanted to get Diane back and goes to his office. Diane apologizes to Sumner for Diane's accusations, but Sumner tells her he was right. Go Sam. We see here, I mean, Sam has those street smarts, and he picks up on things, whereas Diane is just book smart, but she doesn't really get people. Diane goes to Sam's office. Sam can't believe she would choose him. She replies, I flipped a coin, and explains she told Sumner, heads I'm going to walk into you, tails I'm going to run. Sam thinks she's crazy, and he tells her how wonderful Sumner is. Diane says, now if you hurry, he's yours. Another great line. Sam asks why she picked him, and she says that he read War and Peace for her. She says the only thing that would be more romantic is if he read War and Peace to her. Sam gets the copy of the book and they sit on the couch. She kisses his neck. Then she takes the book from him and says, let's go see the movie. Sam yells, there's a movie? He runs out of the office with the golf club yelling, where's Cliff? I'll kill him. Great ending to the episode. I have seen this many times, and I don't know if it's because of being hard of hearing, or what, but I always thought the last line was there's a movie, and I thought you were just kind of ranting. I didn't realize there's actual words, and this was the first time I caught the where's Cliff, I'll kill him line. I gave this episode 4.5 out of 5 beer nuts. Sumner's back. Michael McGuire plays Sumner to perfection, and it is actually enjoyable to dislike the character. And I actually had co-MVPs this week, because of how good they both were, and that went to Ted Danson and Michael McGuire. I really could not decide between the two because, like I said, Sumner he does it perfectly, but Sam's whole, especially at the end, with there's a movie and then his forgetting his shoes, Carl having to throw the drink in his face, his raspberry. I mean, it's perfect everything he does. And Best Dress also went to Sam Malone. I really like the suit jacket he was wearing. Definitely very 80s with the elbow pad. You see Norm wearing them a lot, but I like the one that Sam wore. And of course, I've mentioned before my crush with on Ted Danson. So I've kind of really liked how he looked in that one. Grand Slam line. Sumner says, I may not be perfect. Then again, I may. My mom and I used to quote that line all the time. We would say it. On baseline. Sam says, I'll tell you one thing else. Before I read War and Peace in 5 days, just impress some broad. It'll be a cold day in Minx. Which a very good line. I assume that's where War and Peace takes place. Like I haven't read it yet, but it would make sense how where it probably takes place since Tolstoy wrote it. I think that was another throwaway line though, and I don't think people got the Minx part, perhaps. Here's a little known fact. This episode has one of the very few times that Diane calls Cliff Cliff instead of her usual Clifford. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, follow, all those things. And of course, you can join the Facebook group. Cheers, that's one woman's opinion. I didn't turn this off. There we go. For those of you who are not watching on YouTube and just listening, I have signs that I make that each week I show all these things, but I have my light on in the back to make it easier to see me, but then the cards don't show up, so I have to turn it off. You can follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter, now called X, at One Woman's Opinion. I just can't get used to calling it X, so I always add them both. And of course, you can email us with questions, comments, etc. at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast at gmail.com. Next week, we'll be looking at Cheers Season 2, Episode 6, Affairs of the Heart. And that's one woman's opinion. Thank you.